Hello, everyone. This is Joseph Lucier for our weekly Tongren session. My name is Joseph Lucier. As I mentioned, Anusar Wellness is our mission for our logo or our phrase here, our motto, which is healing without borders. And there's no better way to do that than using distance healing, because I literally have worked probably doing treatments, my guess is maybe 30 countries, maybe more. So I'd like to invite everyone on Facebook to add in your request, or on our website, anusarwellness.com/weekly. It's in the menu there. Looks like we already have about 30 people plus. So we're also going to go live on Instagram, and we are live also on Instagram. So this is great. It makes my day when I see people that I've been looking at for joining us for weeks and weeks, because we know with Tongren healing therapy, it's critical to have even a little bit every day is more than a bunch once a month. The healing momentum is subtle but profound and very effective. So that's what we're looking for here. And for others that want to get some more healing momentum as well, please understand that if you go to tongrenStation.com, there are dozens and dozens of these sessions all over the world. So that's what we want to do. We want to make a great business model, right? Free, international, no judgment, from the convenience of your house, and effective. So if that isn't the best business model, I don't know what is. Because free is good for everyone. We all win. So I'm going to begin right away. And we're getting texts. If people really need to communicate with me, if they don't do the websites, they can use texting to my phone number, which is 617-276-5603. So, and one more thing, you see two screens. We are sort of multitasking because the collective unconscious can do more than one thing at a time. There is no time, technically, no time, no limits, space, time, all those things that Albert Einstein talks about, that are kind of simultaneously existing all at the same time. So we have right here, we are simultaneously adding energy to a specific energy support. So let's begin right away with Drew. Drew, good to see you. And then we will work with Nitika from Canada. And Kim Childs, good to see you as well. One thing I recommend for everyone is a nice little breathing technique. I'll be teaching a whole bunch of breathing techniques at a workshop called Just Breathe, because breathing is quite a profound healing therapy that's been around thousands of years, especially with the yoga communities. But now science has come around to prove that it's actually incredibly effective. And it's one of the things, if you don't breathe properly, it can actually rearrange your teeth, your jaw, and can even impact your sleep dramatically. So these are the things I need to get out there to the world as soon as possible. So for Drew, we're going to work on kidneys, thyroid, and colon. And we work on a 3-part process, which we also teach. We're teaching a Masterclass of Tongren. But if you have a background in Tongren, worked with Tong before, or took my online level 1 workshop, join us. We got a bunch of people already. So our 3-part process is thorough. After my 25 years experience, step 1, blood flow to the brain, and we probably have some requests for brain and cognition. I know we have some for Esther, and I will include myself in that group. And we have Livet Fuller, yes. Hello, hi there. We got to get together, maybe do an interview or something going on, but anything you would like to announce to our group, we have the honorable attendance of Monday, 6 p.m., Jacqueline and Yvonne, kind of like the killer best ever live stream Facebook thing. So we're going to set up an interview. We've done them before, and it's amazing with all the different things that we can talk about. So we'll set up an interview, we'll set up a time, and then I can announce that. Hopefully, if she's available, next week would be great. Set up a time. Trying to interview Tom Tam. He's tough to catch. You can interview him yourself, or I'll interview him. So for our Tongren therapy, vertebral artery to the spinal artery, we're working with Drew, but also Catherine McGlynn. For the eyes, so C3 for the eyes for Catherine. Ouch point for the eyes. Trigeminal nerves for the eyes, which are cranial nerves, GB789. Facial artery, which is superficial blood supply for the eyes. And carotid artery for blood supply for the eyes as well. So welcome to Jacqueline, Thibodeau. Good to see you guys. We'll work on your requests too, Jacqueline, if you have anything specific other than what we may be working on as well. And let me know if the wheatgrass might just be the final puzzle that we will fix. You're doing great, but we want to do greater. T123478. Also GV17 for the eyes, blood pressure for the eyes, which is good for the eyes. GV20 for hormone balancing. And then for Drew, C6, C7, and T1 calcium balancing. And I'm going to move back a little bit. People like to see my hands. And Mr. Laser there is giving everybody a nice boost for the Dantian areas. Yep, so the wheatgrass and the wheatgrass balm or spray, if you get that too. But that was his first recommendation, and that's, I wanted to get that to you. T123478 for Drew. And L1, L2 for the kidneys. Yep, for any of the spray, the wheatgrass balm, definitely L3. In my opinion, these things would be great to do in adjunct with acupuncture. We're talking about Dr. Wheatgrass balm and sprays. What they do, they reconnect the brain injury communication link. So if you're doing acupuncture in our style, which is reconnecting the communication link for the bioelectricity, if you put it on the point, for example, L3, after the treatment, it will continue to do something quite profound, in my opinion. I've been meaning to work with the acupuncturists on that. So after Tongren acupuncture, use the wheatgrass on the actual point, and it will start to enhance communication to the brain for that bioelectrical blockage. I think it'll do quite well. So L3 for Drew, L1, 2, 3 for Drew, and T11, T12, L4, L5 for the colon for Drew. So it's good to see everyone. Yes. MS572. Okay. Good to see you as always. Thank you for all your help and support. And continue to bladder 54 also for Drew. To support the kidneys, there are some common nerves. And as I was saying, we got some big events coming up. The Be Your Own Healer Masterclass. And if you have a background, you can jump in and we can see your levels. We have probably my most important workshop coming up called Just Breathe, which is it's going to be about Wim Hof, Buteyko, breatharianism, which I've also studied, and all these techniques which can enhance oxygen to the tissues, anti-cancer, anti-inflammation, and I will give everybody techniques and simple tools to use that you can use for the rest of your life that are going to profoundly improve your health. So this will be my first oxygen medicine workshop called Just Breathe. And I think it'll be great. It'll be fun. But above all, it's incredibly important. And grounding to liver 3 and kidney 1. Next, we will work with Jolly Humanoid and then Kim Childs and then Happy Mama and all my friends. Wow, we got a lot of people here today. Wow, okay. So I got to keep on track. So, Nitika from Canada for the remaining tumor after surgery in the right frontal lobe. So blood flow to the brain, as I mentioned before, inhaling frankincense, steam, bowls will go right across the blood-brain barrier and start to remove these brain cancer things based upon the experience of Huish, who's done it before and has a protocol and who solved her brain cancer issue with that technique. And for all cancers, there is another advanced technique based upon Native American herbal therapy, black salve in a great preparation technique, which I've used even with my mom for skin cancer, which worked. And those are different things that work on all cancers as well. So let's work on the right frontal lobe for Nitika. So if there are any questions. So it's always good to see you're doing better, worse, the same. So we can always focus and continue to fine-tune and improve. So that is an idea for the fertility, which we'll work on next. If you're getting acupuncture in the L3 area, afterwards put on the balm or the spray in L3 specifically and rub it in. That will be like a double bioelectricity opening technique. So for all cancers, oxygen is the key. That's why I'm doing that workshop as well. I think it's coming up on May 7. Yes. So April 23rd for the Be Your Own Healer workshop and May 7th for the Breath, Just Breathe workshop, which will be fun. So, phrenic nerves and diaphragm. Phrenic nerve to C6, the diaphragm, and phrenic nerve to CV17 for the diaphragm. So that's our oxygen boost right there. We know from experience, when I work with Tom in his clinics, that most cancer patients, probably 80%, had a blockage also on the phrenic nerve, which could be in either direction, but it's an oxygen issue. Oxygen issue in the tissues. And so let's work on vision. So the cranial nerves for vision, that's what's happening. The cranial nerves are impacted by the surgery or whatever. So GB789 for the oculomotor nerves, the abducens nerves, and the optic nerve, 3 cranial nerves which manage eyes. We'll work on all of those. GB24 for the optic nerve, GB789 for the abducens, and the other cranial nerve. Especially the left eye, GB789. We want to wake that up. And numbness on the right side because of the crossover from the left side of the brain situation, it will affect the right side of the body. That's exactly how this works. And then we're going to work on hemoglobin, and we're going to work on that for platelets as well for Marie. Visual cortex, communication, GB19 for vision for Nitika. Right side of the face, numbness, so facial artery, facial nerve, blood flow, nerve flow, those two things. Vertebral artery to the spinal artery, anti-inflammation, oxygenation. There are oxygen water techniques, there are oxygen light therapies, crystal therapies, all which are consistent with creating microcirculation, cellular plumbing, and increased oxygen and increased detoxing. Tingling in feet, so that makes sense as well. So we're going to work on the 2 areas, the plexus nerves, the shoulders, which is the brachial plexus, and the legs, the lumbosacral plexus. And grounding to liver 3 and kidney 1. Emotional imbalance for everyone, including myself, GB13 right side. So blood flow, sky window to the frontal lobe, C1, and GB13 right side for emotional balance. And next we're going to work on hemoglobin and for Livet Fuller, great name. Blood flow to the brain. So we're going to work on blood. So first, hormone balancing for Livet Fuller. GB 19, 20, 21, 22. Hypothalamus and pituitary. And L3. And for any cancers, aloe vera. There's a medical grade aloe vera, which is healing. It's got Asiatic herbs, which are anti-cancer and then detoxing. They also have macrophages, which clean up scar tissue internally, and they reduce inflammation. They increase hydration. So it's a real winner for advanced therapy as well. So again, GB20, 22, hormone, hypothalamus, pituitary, L3 for fertility. And activate the entire spine and digestion. So vertebral artery to the spinal artery, T7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 for digestion. And next we'll be working on bone marrow, bone and blood platelets. D11, D12, L4, L5 for the microbiome and the gut. So good things for the digestion are, fermented foods and nutrient-dense foods like sea vegetables. Those two things are very important. So if people are interested in any of the workshops, just let me know. I know we have a lot of them, but we just want to basically give over techniques, the breathing techniques I hand off to you based upon my research. I've personally experienced and trained in all of the areas that we'll discuss, all of them, including breatharian training. The Tongren is to allow you to be your own healer, so people can just take charge of your lives. And then you can be the ones that make the decisions about your future and your life. That's what it's all about. Ask questions, question everything, question me. But there are tools, amazing tools that we have to fight against propaganda and different things. This is consistent with the Tao and the healing of the world. Very simple. And we're going to do grounding for everyone. We're going to work on restorative sleep, but next we're going to work with Happy Mama, then Esther, then Kim. We're on track. Blood flow to the brain. We're going to work on perfect blood and bone and platelets and bone marrow for everyone, for Marie, for Happy Mama. Blood flow to the brain. Brain command points. Common sense. Wake up the brain, wake up the body. Reestablish the coupling of the brain wound injury. Brain stem command points. GB17 for circulation. Perfect blood. We want perfect blood to continue. Perfect blood, lymph, and calm mind. We'll keep all of that going. So let me know how you're doing. Let's set up an interview maybe for next week if you're free. That would be great. Blood flow, nerve flow. So T1 is the classic for the bones. And Jeff, you're next as well. And good news, less chemo, which is good. T1 for the bones. So we'll do a complete bone marrow workup, as they say. GB7, 8, 9 for the sphenoid bone for cranial circle fluid. T1 for the bone marrow, bones. Tailbone 1, 2, 3, 4. And then GB39, classic point for Chinese for the bones as well. So we work Chinese medicine, Tom Tam medicine, all based on anatomy and physiology. Even Chinese medicine is based upon the bioelectricity of the fascia. So it's not a mystery of what it is and how it works and why it works. It's part of the anatomy of the human body. So, and the spleen. So the spleen, because that recycles blood. T7 right side. How's everybody doing so far? So T3 for the lymph. We want increased platelets. Make sure I don't miss anyone. Go back. Platelets and headache relief. Okay, that's what I was wondering. I knew there was something else going on I needed to check on. Blood supply and GB20 for headaches. 17, BL9, GB19. Yep, GB20. Right at the base of the skull, right there. That's the classic point for headaches. We can also use GB13 left side and right side as well. GB13 right side for calm mind, and let's do complete lymph. Even for, there's a new person here, the lymph, T1, 2, 3, lungs and lymph. Spleen, which is our major lymph node, number 1 lymph node of the body. T7 right side, left side. And the collection centers for the lymph. Axillary lymph for the arms, inguinal lymph for the groin, lymphatic duct to release everything that's collected in the lymph, stomach 11 and 12. And then grounding liver 3 and kidney 1. So next we work with Jeff and Kim. Okay, so let's see, we don't want to miss anything. Henry's here, Jeff. Okay, we're on it. I see Jeff, Ms. Bo, Henry, and Kim. So let's work with Kim. Deep restorative sleep. Believe it or not, taping your mouth closed, enforcing nasal breathing can get rid of sleep problems, sleep apnea. Different things. Blood flow to the brain. So in tongue for sleep, because that's our pineal gland. So make sure you're sleeping totally in the dark, quiet place, pitch black, because that activates the pineal gland and our melatonin. blood flow to the brain. And let's work on sleep some more. GB13, right side. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. T7, left side is also for sleep, restorative sleep as well. C1, C2, GB13, right side. Anti-inflammation for good sleep. And the gut-brain axis, GB12, CV4 for deep restorative sleep. And guess what? It's also for digestive health. GB12, CV4, and T11, T12, L4, L5 for more for digestive health. And sky window. And grounding to liver 3 and kidney 1 for Kim. There are certain breathing exercises you can do which will activate the parasympathetic relaxation response, and lessen the other mode, the sympathetic fight or flight. Saying affirmations before bed are also extremely helpful for deep consciousness and sleep. Jeff. Long COVID, post-viral syndrome, fatigue, high muscle fatigue, especially fingers, arms, blood flow to the brain. So that is systemic inflammation we want to focus on. Brain command points for Jeff. And we'll work with Esther and Ms. Bow and Henry. Prostate, bladder, and sleep. We'll work on that. Command points of the brain stem. Muscle fatigue. We want oxygen, carbon dioxide balance to get oxygen into the tissues, just as athletes need it. But from Tongren, we want the vagus, the phrenic nerve, and the diaphragm, T6, the phrenic nerve, and CV17. Oxygen into the tissues. Anti-inflammation, T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, anti-inflammation, also focusing on T3 lymph and the linings of the lungs. So that would be the same blockage, T3. But we'll focus on left side. T1 for the white blood cells. Blessings to you, Kim. Good to see you. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, anti-inflammation. Chemo going down from his bow, which is great. We'll work on PSA, prostate for kind person, and for Henry, dramatic specimen. So blood flow and nerve flow, T7 right side, L3 for the prostate area. So PSA, there are always good things to do. You test your PSA and your inflammation markers. There are herbs, prostate care from Himalayan company, and there's also Crystal Star Prostate Remedy, which I recommend and actually used myself about 15-20 years ago when I had a minor issue and took care of that. Improve hearing, both ears left. So let's work on the ears, vestibulocochlear nerve for Jeff and everyone. Kind person. So GB789, vestibulocochlear nerves, sky window blood flow to the nerves, and the ouch point of the ears. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8 for fatigue, and also for fatigue, stomach 36, specifically for energy. Fingers and arms. The source would be GB C6, C7, T1, T2, the brachial plexus for Jeff. And if we didn't do it already, we'll make sure we do it now. The left breast, T4. So blood flow, nerve flow, T4 for the breast, and the mammary arteries, blood flow, lung 1, lung 2 area. And grounding to liver 3 and kidney 1. Of course, we did T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, antiviral. Both ears. Liver 3 and kidney 1. And we'll continue with Henry. We work on the prostate, then the bladder for Henry and for Esther. And for dramatic specimen for esophageal cancer for Fran. Blood flow to the brain. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, anti-inflammation, anti-cancer. Always GB13 for everyone for mental clarity. As I mentioned each week, the best thing for detoxing, which is going to help to alkalize, is clay baths, clay foot soaks. T8 for esophageal cancer. So we do T7, T8, T9 to cover the whole area for Fran. Antioxygen, promoting oxygen, phrenic nerve, T6 for the diaphragm for oxygen capacity, phrenic nerve and CV17 for the diaphragm and the CV17 chest opening, also for oxygen capacity, which is what we're looking for breathing techniques. The difference between nasal breathing and mouth breathing can even be involved in SIDS, since the human anatomy of the mouth has actually changed over the last 400 years. It affects our breathing and even the shape of our mouth and can sometimes cause obstruction for babies. And TA for esophageal cancer. L1, 2, 3, 3 for the bladder, and S1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the bladder area. This is what I meant. Yeah. Bladder and sleep. T7, right side. In Tong for sleep as well. So right knee, left SI joint for Esther. So the source area, lumbosacral plexus, SI joint area, GB30. S1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the bladder. For Henry and Esther. And grounding to liver 3 and kidney 1. And for neuropathy in general, the brachial plexus, lumbosacral plexus. Grounding to liver 3 and kidney 1. Good to see you, Henry, and everyone. Dramatic specimen. So we have lose weight, regenerate bone, cartilage, and we have fungal infection as well, and burning eyes. So I would highly recommend clay baths, clay foot soaks, which is antifungal. I would do oil pulling, which is antifungal with coconut oil, 10 to 15 minutes. Swishing, also good for the teeth and the sanitization of the mouth. Blood flow to the brain. And we have Kimby's. And sorry to hear you had a fall. Oh no. Blood flow to the brain. Weight loss can sometimes be managed through a couple of things. One is a wide strain of probiotics to help metabolize fats. Number 2 is high nutrient-dense foods, because sometimes it's a famine response holding on to weight because the body thinks it's going to be malnourished or it's going to be deficient in food availability. So it kind of goes into like a bear, goes into a sleep and holds on to food and fats like bears do when they sleep in the winter. And regenerate bone, the best product I've seen, Algae Cal and herbal remedies from Dr. Winston. Blood flow to the brain. Metabolism, of course, for weight loss and bones. But bones is the thyroid, parathyroid balancing, C6, C7, T1. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8 for fungal infection. Also for detox for Kimby's. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. T1 for the bones, for the ribs. Broken and right foot, and now the ribs. Don't give up. Clay poultices, bone rebuilding, Is it possible that these effects on your bones are side effects from medications? Because it seems you're doing all the right stuff, you're working really hard, but if the medications are continually messing with your bones, like bisphosphonates, that's something to think about. T123478. So there's a question for spirulina recommendation. The best company I find is E3 Live in California, Klamath Lake. It's a type of spirulina. It's actually a blue-green algae, which is also what a spirulina is. But specific spirulina, I'd have to look to see if there's another type if you just want spirulina as opposed to blue-green algae, which has kind of the same makeup. But all good stuff. T123478 for fungal infection, burning eyes, C3, C4. And the bones for Kimby's. T1, GB39 for the bones, and especially the ouch point, the right foot, and now T1 to T12, the ribs as well. And the tough thing with rib issues, it hurts when you breathe. Every breath can cause agony. For the pain, I would definitely put in aloe vera gel on the pain, or wheatgrass balm spray twice a week or less. And grounding bone and cartilage in the right hip, so we don't want to forget that. Blood flow, T7 right side, nerve flow, lumbosacral plexus, and the out point, right hip. So a 3-part process to really be effective. And then grounding to liver 3 and kidney 1. So the detox organs and the adrenals, T9 for the liver, L2 for the kidneys, L1 for the adrenals. And Esther, good to see you. Donna, good to see you. Sorry for the delays. It takes a while to catch up, and we're getting there. But you attend Tom's Saturday morning class in person. Tap for breast cancer with metastases to the lung and liver. It immediately makes me think of biomats, which prevent metastases by increasing microcirculation and what's called the 4th phase of water. So that would be one option, as well as opening up blockages. Blood flow to the brain. So we'll work with Donna, and then for Julia. How you doing, Julia? We need to talk as soon as we can. So the body is having a harder time holding on to platelets. We will have tapping for you. We will always figure it out for you. Don't worry, Julia. Blood flow to the brain. T12347, but T4 for the breast. Cancer, metastases to the lungs. So T3, T4, T3, T4, and T9 for the liver. So let's do that again. T3, T4, T9 for the liver. I would highly recommend Wayback Water, and I highly recommend a crystal mat. L1 to L5 as well. So breasts and lungs, T3, T4, and blood supply, mammary arteries. And the hepatic portal, T7, so blood flow, nerve flow for everything. And if people are interested in the workshops, let me know. Mostly it's just to help people customize their own Tongren treatments and stuff like that. And I would like to read this one out loud. Henry, again, reporting on last week's session. I had the best sleep, so let's give a round of applause for Henry. Henry, you did a good job. Keep up the good work. You're working at it really hard, so congratulations for you. Blood flow to the brain, and we're going to do one more reinforcement for the breast cancer as well. And then for Henry for sleep, GB13 right side, in tongue. And then for Julia, AML next. Okay, let's focus on bone marrow, AML, platelets. There were a few people requests. We're going to do that again. Blood flow to the brain, brain command points. With the right Tongren with the laser is amazingly effective for asthma. Fixed it. Don't quote me. Don't tell the police that I said that, but it does work. The laser for asthma works. Breathing techniques have been around for decades, also for curing asthma, especially from Europe, Eastern Europe, Russia, and from breathing techniques in the US and Ireland. Blood flow to the brain. And those are the things that I want to teach at the workshop coming up. So, bone marrow, AML, craniosacral fluid, GB789. GB789, blood, craniosacral fluid, T1 bone marrow, tailbone 1 to 4 for the bone marrow as well. Working on the platelets. If we didn't talk about platelet building, bone marrow building through the ITP website, we'll revisit that, or I will explain that to you as well when we speak next. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Something for gum infection and pain. Two things. One is oregano oil under the tongue, a couple of drops. That will be the antiseptic. Number two for the pain is, which I used, I have a tooth issue, it is clove oil. With your finger, rub it on the painful area. It is a natural anesthetic. No side effects. It works. I did it. That two-part process is going to work. An easy way to get oregano or things for the mouth and gums, there are these gummies with oregano oil and black seed oil. Those two are incredibly effective. So you chew on the gummies, swish it in your mouth to be antiseptic. I get rid of an infection in my tooth with this specific process. And again for the bones for AML, GB39. And blessings to all from Kim, by the way. Positive energy to all of us from Kim. Thank you very much. Best sleep I've had in 2 years, 2 longer periods than usual. The following night was pretty good as well. All right, we'll keep working on that. We're going to make it work. Nitika, we've worked on that. Jeff, we got you going. We can work on some more of that. Doing great. Joyful Chatter said she's doing great. Pondering Civilian, thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you, Joe, for all you do. So we're going to work on osteoporosis in post-viral syndrome for Jeff. Oxygen for everyone. So yes, Kimby's Algae Cal. They guarantee bone density improvements. I've talked with them as well. And there's also a set of herbs. So there's kind of a 2-part process that I recommend, that I would like to recommend for you. If you email me, I'll just send to you whatever you need. Blood flow to the brain. And of course, bone precursors and silica, clay foot baths, clay soaks, will be to mineralize and create more bone. Blood flow to the brain. T123478 for long-term COVID. And I think I got everyone covered, and we are right on time. Anti-inflammation for everyone. Oxygen for everyone. Phrenic nerve CV17. Phrenic nerve T6. Yes, drinking clay. Yeah, gotta have the right clay, not just a salt-based bentonite clay. You gotta have a clay with the right minerals. I'm putting together a clay kit for basically home-based clay use for people, and in the meantime, if you email me, I'll just send you some links to get some stuff right away, so you can get started right away. T123478 for long-term COVID. C3 for the eyes for everyone that requested for eyes. T3, T4, lymph and breast area for everyone with the lymph area. We're going to do a lymph tune-up for everyone right now. Right now. Just playing. So 5-part process, 6-part process for the lymph. The axillary lymph of the armpits, inguinal lymph of the groin, the master lymph, the spleen, and the lymphatic duct to release toxins from everybody. So for bones, the 3-part process, above and beyond exercise and resistance training, herbs, algae, clay. Those 3 things. That's the way to go. And stomach 36, energy for everyone. Yin Tong, upper Dantian area for connecting to our true selves, our true hearts of compassion, which makes all this work and makes everybody here one big, beautiful community. So thank you very much, Yin Tong area. And then grounding to the earth, Mother Earth. Mother Earth nourishes us to give us sustenance, liver 3 and kidney 1. And gosh and begun, we're right on time. Amazing. Energy for everyone, including Mr. Laser, who's been working overtime lately, needs a break. And I want to make sure that I didn't miss, I got all of these. Yep, we are good, we're covered. Facebook requests, I only see one from Kim Childs. Maybe the other Facebook, yep, the other Facebook pages are connected. If you give me information, Jim, put your request here to make sure I get it. But I only see Facebook connection for Kim Childs. Which Facebook page are you on, and what is your request to make sure you're included? And I will double check to see if there's a problem. But I do see Honest Our Wellness, I see YouTube, and they should be all combined. YouTube, Honest Our Wellness, and Tongren Station. So I'm looking at comments. I only see one set. Why doesn't it show up? So let me finish here, and then I will get those, and I will still work on those. Can you tell me which Facebook page you're on? Is it Tongren Academy, Honest Our Wellness, or YouTube, or Tongren Station Facebook page? I don't connect to them. But that's a question I can figure out because that's not my page. But I will see. We should be broadcasting to Tongren Station as well. Thank you for reminding me. Tongren Station. I will fix that. I can connect to there. We're not connected at this time. That's the mistake. So if you have requests, please put it in now. And I want to make sure that I get everyone. Jim, we have Parkinson's and neuropathy. Okay, thank you. Insulin resistance. So for everyone that's here, we're going to just give them the energy in the lower dantian. So let's work on Parkinson's. So number one for Parkinson's, you need to make sure you have a wide spectrum probiotic in the gut. You have to eliminate constipation, and you have to support the brain. There are mucuna pruriens, herbs, Ayurvedic herbs, which are very helpful. So let's do that. Blood flow to the brain. Brain command points, the substantia nigra, part of the brain specifically. So we're doing some extras for people that were missed from Facebook. Substantia nigra, blood flow to the brain. But a lot of the issues for Parkinson's are in the gut. The migration of alpha-synuclein proteins from the gut to the brain to clog up the brain. A clear sign is constipation. T1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8 for inflammation and neuropathy. In the hands, brachial plexus. In the waist, lumbosacral plexus. Insulin resistance, lower your intake of fats to 10 to 20% of the diet. Make them plant-based fats as much as possible. And reduce inflammation and be well hydrated. T123478. So the microbiome, T11, T12, L4, L5. And down, bladder 54. So again, the frontal lobe, GB789 for the substantia nigra part of the brain. I recommend mucuna pruriens herbs. And then the vagus nerve down the torso. And work on the inguinal hernia right side. CV4 and stomach 26. So I will make sure I'm connected to Tongren Station going forward. It should be Tongren Station, Anusar Wellness, YouTube, Tongren Academy. Thank you for the correction. Thank you, Jim. Good to see you. Good probiotics for the gut. Dr. O'Hara is one of my favorites for those things. Number 2 is to cleanse the colon, eliminate the mucoid plaque to clear up the colon so that doesn't migrate to the vagus nerve to the brain as well. And then your fat intake 10 to 20% max to eliminate insulin resistance. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for chiming in. Thank you for helping me make this better for everyone. Take care. Have a good night. Blessings to all. And see you next week. Keep going. There are other works. There are other ones. Monday 6 with Yvonne and Jacqueline, who's here tonight. And then there are Saturday mornings in persons. There are Tongren Station all over the planet. So thank you very much and have a great day.